anyone else tell you differently. You are precious to our hearts. Anyways, let's go into the draft between RSG against Team HAQ. And against this game, I really want to make sure that we focus on the mid lane matchup because, again, looking at the keys to victory, it is something that we have to contest for. And Team HAQ, they're starting off with a Masha ban. Really, okay, so this kind of just tells me either they're worried of a split push potential or, Masha overall is just very annoying even in the team fights.
We know that Team HAQ overall is not really the type of team that will prioritize Lola's hero. They usually want to pick it up a little bit later in the game. So even though they are on the blue side, they will usually not go for the Masha too early on. And since they are up against RSG, we know that HY is doing pretty well with these sort of heroes. I think it's best that they don't allow it through. The Valentina going to be a pretty common ban on the red side as well, but also much respect to Man. Definitely some of the best Valentina plays we have seen.
Yeah, I'm looking at this game and remembering the current patch where 1-1 now has a way for you to fight against the crossbow of Tang just because now the weakness tag is considered as a debuff. So any kind of hero that has a debuff cleanse, remove all debuff ability, can counter it. And we saw it where Team HAQ used it against for the side of Toda, where Toda first picked the 1-1 and then Min uses the Diggy to be able to cleanse the crossbow of Tang, but it really didn't work out just because Min, as a player, is a set-up kind of player. He doesn't do well with protecting the backline. So right now, Team HAQ, they're banning out the Akai, which is great and all, but I really want to see if RSG can use that one game as a benchmark of an idea, and that is to limit Min's hero pool or try to manipulate it in a way that gets him on a hero that doesn't really focuses on engaging those team fights.
That is one of the advantages that RSG will have here. Because of how few games they have played, they'll have a lot more information over their opponents as compared to what their opponents may have on them, even if we already have information from past seasons, simply because of how much the meta has shifted recently. So because of that, what you mentioned is true. They can try and use that knowledge to manipulate the draft, hopefully in their favor here. But they're going to start things off still with the common bans. I don't think they're going to focus too hard on anything just yet, because a lot of teams, I realize, are using this game one as a way to really feel out their opponents. That's why I feel like a lot of games this season have gone to that third series. In fact, a lot of them have been reverse sweeps simply because they are using that game one to just take as much knowledge as they can and adapt their draft accordingly.
Yeah, speaking of adapting and drafting, I haven't been seeing a lot of Julians over here. Is it even going to be banned? And looks like 1-1 herself is going to be banned. And it's probably one of those things that they learn against Doda, that even though Diggy in a mechanical sense can counter the 1-1, but it's not good enough, or at least it's not good enough for them. So might as well not take the risk, because perhaps Panda does not want a 1-1. Maybe he still wants to have that Claude on hand, because one of the advantages of having a Claude is that it doesn't really matter what kind of hero Izanami uses, he can always go to the backline. So it doesn't matter if HAQ is using an engaged type hero or protecting the backline. Claude kind of just penetrates all of that. So perhaps for the side of Team HAQ, like you said, they just want to test the waters. So they're just going to go for a more comfortable draft and then just see how it goes.
It is interesting though that the 1-1 gets banned out. We do know that Panda, he has played on this hero before, but this is a pretty clear indication that he may not be the most comfortable on it. And so Team HAQ, despite having first priority pick, ban it out. RCMY actually going to be closing out the ban phase with the Karina, which is interesting considering that heroes like, for example, the Faramis are being led through the draft. We know Man is very handy with it, and RSG hasn't even looked to ban out something like the Diggy here, considering how much Min likes playing on the Atlas. So they need to be prepared for these possibilities.
Yeah, perhaps RSG is just trying to open up a draft. It's like, okay, you can take the Faramis. The Julian might be something that people don't prioritize too much, but oh no, apparently Beatrice is going to be the priority here for Team HAQ.
Ooh, interesting from Team HAQ. I would have definitely thought that Faramis would be the priority pickup. By not grabbing that, they're actually giving the chance for RSG to pick up perhaps the Faramis Atlas combo. But I think they're confident here that that is not RSG MY's usual playstyle. They're quite comfortable letting it through. And since the Beatrix was picked up, RSG are quite comfortable grabbing the Claude away for themselves. Lolil's very comfortable with the hero as well as the Faramis.
I think RSG, the trigger finger is a little bit too fast. Like, you know how sometimes skills can be preloaded. Like you're not in range, but you already press the skill, and once it's in range, then the skill has been used. We talked about how for the side of Team HAQ, perhaps with the bans that they had, they wanted the Claude for themselves. Panda just wanted the Claude just because it is a good hero going up against RSG's style of play where he can focus onto Izanami. So perhaps RSG in their head is like, we gotta steal away the Claude. But the thing is, Team HAQ, they already got a B-Trick, so it's probably not going to be a priority for them to pick up the Claude. So I kind of feel like it's a wasted early pick. Perhaps they could have just taken, like I think we're thinking of the same thing, Paramis as well as the Atlas, and then later on pick up the Claude. I'm just thinking that this Claude is taken a little bit too early, and Lilia has a 69% win rate. Nice.
I personally think picking up the Claude at this point is not bad actually from RSGMY, simply because they're not revealing too much just yet and they already know his gold lane matchup. So in a way, yes, it's a bit early to pick up the Claude considering it wouldn't be contested, but they're also using it as a way to obscure their further draft. So Team HAQ respond with the Ling as well as the Lilia, interestingly enough, actually letting the Atlas through. So RSGMY are actually going to pick up on this really strong team fight combo. And while usually Diggy would be an amazing counter to this, because RSG left the Atlas until this point and picked up the Claude earlier, it allows them to ban the Diggy.
Yeah, I think the Diggy ban is still good, even though the other day Min on the Diggy didn't really show the best of results. But yeah, again, still it's very good just because it's an annoying pick to go up against in the gold lane with the Beatrix as well as the Diggy. And right now, Team HAQ, they betting out the Thamus for both sides of the team. Team HAQ, they already have a very solid damage composition. All they really need is just tankiness as well as setup because they don't have a lot of crowd control. However, with the Lilia there providing a lot of slow in mid, I kind of feel like Team HAQ has quite the advantage when it comes to their lineup for now.
But I am a little bit worried. The Cult Altar Fatal Links combo is honestly terrifying, and Team HAQ is a team that does like to fight together a lot of the time, something that this combo from RSG is going to counter very heavily. I'm hoping that they will have some solutions to this because I'm not seeing it right now. And out of the roamers that are remaining in the pool, there's not a lot that can answer this sort of aggression.
I'm looking in terms of roamers for Min specifically. I'm looking for something like a Franco or a Ruby to kind of like neutralize any kind of engagements coming in from the team. Like basically, I'm looking for a roamer that can stall it out a little bit, wait for the altar to finish, wait for the Atlas to make a mistake, and then go in. Because looking at the composition from the side of RSG, they're kind of like, we're going to use all of our skills, and then hopefully we get a kill. Because the same as Claude, he's going to go in with his Blazing Duet. If he gets a kill, great. But if he doesn't, then he just has to kite.
Optionally, Team HAQ could also go in the totally opposite direction. Right now, yes, Franco would be good for picking people off, but there's no real way to deal with this combo from RSG. Even Ruby wouldn't be good enough. So what if Team HAQ just avoids team fighting altogether and goes for full pick-off split push? Min goes for something like the Natalia instead.
I kinda want the Natalia to be in the jungle position because of the changes in the Natalia in the current patch. Julian has finally been picked up. I think this is going to be a jungle Julian. So right now for the side of RSG, they have quite a lot of AoE crowd control as well as AoE damage. So from the side of Team HAQ, because they have the Lilia as well as the Beatrix, this is why I kind of feel like they kind of have to wait it out. Because in terms of kiting, they're actually pretty good. Lilia can provide the slow as well as the AoE damage. And then Beatrix, she has basically two ultimates up all the time. Whether if you're using the Nibiru as well as the Wesker, it's going to be AoE style of damage. So I kind of feel like Team HAQ, they can fight. But again, it's the setup as well as how do you want to counter engage. Because looking at the draft right now, RSG is looking pretty strong, but knowing Team HAQ, even if they do want to play a split kind of composition, I don't know. I'm just unsure of their split pushing capabilities.
And it does look like they feel the same way here. They're gonna be completing their draft with a Hilda and a Phoveus. And while these are pretty strong picks, I agree. I don't know if it's going to be enough here because RCMY just has basically one of the best team fighting compositions I have seen at MPL. all of their heroes have massive AoE damage. And if Team HAQ wants to fight into that, they have to have perfect initiation. And with the Hilda and the Phobias, they basically have no crowd control to deal with the engage from RSG.
Yeah, the only thing that I am worried about is definitely the crowd control element. RSG and Y, they're going to finish this out with a Paquito pick, and looks like they're not really going to change their heroes. So this is going to be an EXP lane Paquito. So before going into the game, looking at for the side of Team HAQ, not a lot of crowd control, however, quite a lot of damage, especially if they decide to control the jungle, where Min as well as Mun invade, because there is a lot of control in terms of slows and then quite a lot of damage just because of how the Hilda as well as how the Lilia really work out together, because Lilia is a very strong level 2 hero. Same thing can be said with the Hilda.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. The early game is going to be very important for Team HAQ. Those first 2 levels are their big weak point that they have to take advantage of. And as we greet the land of Dawn, we once again look at the line of Team HAQ. They have to use that level 1, level 2 invade. But RSG has a lot of solutions for that in order to protect the Julian in the jungle and the late game scaling with the Blazing Duet, as well as probably the most terrifying team fight lineup that has ever graced the land of Dawn. Will the Champion Slayers be able to live up to their potential moniker here in our first game of Week 2, Day 3?
So it's going to be a question of, can Team HAQ control the early stages of the game, or will RSG MY able to scale up and just win in the river fights? Right now, looking at HAQ. HAQ is already there, disturbing Gary. But look at Min. He just dealt half damage to Kuza, but he should be fine right now. Same thing should be said for HAQ.
Indeed, neither of these roamers are going to really be able to zone out the enemy at this point in time. I was actually hoping that Min would be able to do a little bit more damage considering how weak Julian is at level 1. So that is actually a small win for Kuza there. Oh. So Min still gonna continue on his efforts here, but he is 1v3.
Yeah, he has to be careful. He's been pulled in by Izanami, but again, this is a Hilda. No point in really dishing out the damage unless your intent is to kill. She can heal pretty fast. That's quite a lot. I kind of don't like that.
That is kind of ridiculous. Every time you see it, you think, oh, Hilda doesn't heal that much in the bush, and then you realize, oh, yes, she does. And that means that Kuza is going to be slowed down pretty heavily here on his purple buff. This could actually create enough time for Gary to come in and go for the steal, especially with Min going in yet again.
Yeah, but Hand Sword deals a lot of damage, and finally the first blood is going over to Izanami. I kind of wish Mun was there to really back him up, because I feel like as strong as Hilda is, it would be even scarier if Min was there to help out. Gary is level 4, however, he has to run away, not enough backup for him to actually go for any kind of team fight, but HY, it's not going to punch him out.
Indeed, HY, I think that's the proper choice there for HY. Both him and Lola are nearing that level 4, and we know how much Phobias counters Paquito once he has access to Demonic Force, so he simply does not want to take that risk, especially when the turtle is coming up in the top side. He needs to maintain lane control to make sure that RSG can take it. Min just continuing with his harassment here.
Yeah, I want to look at the first 2 turtle phases. Panda managing to get a kill onto Lolios, and right now, Min might be the next target. Man is here dishing out the damage. Kuza as well as Izanami has to be careful. HAQ, he does not have level 4, but that does not matter. Man still tries to get some kills onto HAQ. Right now, he is level 4, so he has a little bit more magic resist, able to run away.
That was actually a good juke from Min there. He actually walked back into the bush to avoid the enhanced chain. Otherwise, he would have died earlier. Just unlucky that HAQ was able to pick up the kill there. But overall, Team HAQ do still have the slight gold lead. And that's partly because of Panda already taking the entire gold shield down here in the bottom turret, nearly taking out the structure on his own.
But I kind of still don't like it. I want to see a little bit more. I want to see more aggression from the side of Team HAQ, just because they should really have a very good advantage here. Kuza almost taken down, but the co-alter makes it so that he can still run away. A very clutch co-alter by Izanami.
That was either a little bit of a panic from Izanami, or he perfectly calculated that the ultimate from the Hilda wouldn't actually be enough to kill Kuza, because otherwise that Cult Altar would have actually come out too late. But because they were able to chase him back, Gary, he should be able to take this. Yes, he does steal the purple buff from Kuza.
Yeah, and the reason why I want to see a little bit more from the side of Team HAQ is because they should be getting turtles left and right, but right now Panda is going to be focused on, and Panda is going to go down. Izanami secures the kill for himself. A little bit too late coming in from Mun.
This is where RSG MY's team composition starts to become quite scary. Once they hit that level 4, they have a lot of really powerful ultimates that they can play around, and that allows them to roam around the map very effectively. Gary, using the information that 4 members of RSG are in the bottom lane, should be able to take this turtle with Lola zoning out HY. So Team HAQ still maintain the gold lead, but not by much.
Yeah, we got to look at the proactiveness coming in for the side of RSG. They're moving around the map quite a lot, despite Kuza actually getting harassed in the jungle quite a bit. Because again, look at this. Min is harassing Kuza, but he has a score of 0-0-3. And looking at the level difference, sure, Gary has a level advantage of 1, but I don't think it's enough. I think RSG MY, with the composition that they have, they're okay with losing, like, what, 100, 200 goal difference? Like, in a way, RSG MY is still winning.
RSGNY has such a strong playmaking composition that even if they are a little bit behind towards the late game, one big Cult Altar Fatal Links combination is enough to bring him back from the brink here. We can see that Gary is consistently stealing away the jungle and will use the Tempest Blades avoid HY as well. So they are still successfully stealing farm from the Julian though.
Yeah, but again, the focus I think should be on to Lolios, because right now Lolios, in a sense, yes, he did die once against Panda, but look at this. Min is again focusing on to Kuza, having to back off. But is it enough? I kind of feel like Min and Man should move together, because this does not, in a way, I want them to win the mid, because they're playing a little bit slowly. However, right now, looks like Izanami forces the altar just because Team HAQ, they're staying there for a little bit too long, and Lola gets punished.
All things considered though, considering how long Team HAQ stayed in that dive, only losing Lola is not too bad for them. It is a good catch for RSG MY though. I feel like the reason they're not really... Oh, hold on. Tempest Blades onto HY. This is gonna be a kill, and that means that the top tier 1 should fall to Team HAQ. If the Fatal Links comes out on top of Panda, is gonna get taken out 1v3. RSG want to trade the bottom tier 1, and they will do so.
Yeah, right now RSG MY, it's clear that they have the advantage because they have 5 kills over to 2, and looking at how they're standing in the Land of Dawn, they have clear map advantage, and right now they're in their element. Whenever the fights are starting to focus around the riverside, the range of the Fatal Links as well as the Co-Altar is perfect for riverside fights. So right now, with the turtle being up, soon it's going to be the Lord phase, and RGMY, they just keep scaling and scaling and scaling. I kind of feel like Team HAQ, they should find ways to deal with Lolios early on, because if not, it's going to be very, very tough to go up against him. But right now, looking at the items, Min, he has not completed one defensive item yet, not even a dominance ice. I kind of feel like he should try to stop die and try to get more assists onto himself, just so he can get a little bit more gold, a little bit more EXP, so that he can tank a little bit more.
Oh man, gonna be forced to use the black shoes. HAQ comes in, but a really good split up by Team HAQ to ensure that they're not caught in a big Fatal Links, avoiding what could have been a pretty big disaster for them. Right now, we could see that the way RSGMY is playing, they're actually ignoring a lot of these big objectives to try and push out the side lanes, because they are aware of the fact that they're not too reliant on farm. This is a team composition that will be able to win fights in the late game, even if they are behind. So they're allowing Team HAQ to split up and look for farm across the map, allowing them to get easier pickups.
Yeah, right now looks like Team HAQ, they're just focusing on Min. But right now, HAQ did not catch anyone. Lolios goes in, focusing on Man, but Man with the black shoes able to run away from that situation. Team HAQ still wants this mid lane turret, but no minions are there. So far, no real action is going on here.
That's actually amazing for Team HAQ as well. That was the 2 big teamfight ultimates used by RSG, and they didn't lose anyone. HY jumping in, double knockout strike will pick off Panda as HAQ gets the stun onto Man and Lola in the backline, but he's got no backup. He's gonna fall while Gary is buying a lot of time under the tier 1 mid, and that means that they trade 1 for 2.
Yeah, despite the situation, both gold laners were able to be taken off the map. And this kind of shows Team HAQ, even though, like, we talked about this during the drop.
Ooh.
What they have to do is they have to bait out these big spells, these big skills. And Gary, he has to be careful, because traditionally, the Paquito is a counter 4. Okay, hold on. Gary manages to survive. It's a counter for Ling. But right now, HHY, is there any way where you can go? And Flicker has been used.
I think that's pretty worth. Forcing HYHY to use his Flicker there is going to make sure that he doesn't have access to that in the next fight. And with the Lord coming up in a few seconds, that could be quite valuable for them. But right now, we have reached a stage in the game where it's very dangerous for Team HAQ to go for any of these big objectives, because if they group up too much, a single combo from RSG MY will dismantle their entire lineup.
Yeah, right now, Gary is looking for, you know, as you pointed out during the draft, he's looking for these side pushes. I'm not so sure whether he is trying to make sure that RSG and MY, they don't stick together. They have to focus on clearing those side minions, or he's just really trying to get as much farm as he can. It's probably a mixture of the two. Right now, the Lord has spawned, and for the side of RSG and MY, they have to make sure that they actually catch people with the Fatal Links, because HAQ, so far, he has missed, like, what, 2 crucial Fatal Links?
Right now, what would be ideal for RSGMY is if they're able to pick off a single member of Team HAQ. I don't think it really matters who they catch, with maybe the exception of Min. Other than that, anyone they catch out here would guarantee that they can secure the Lord for themselves. But Gary, he's 1v2 right now. He's actually, wow, he's just flexing on them there. Going to be able to distract both HYHY and Kuza.
That was very risky, because we have to remember that Ling has been nerfed recently in terms of HP, so you can't tank that much. But so far, it's looking very good. And HAQ probably tries to find absolutely anyone, but Man's probably not a good target just because he still has his black shoes.
One advantage that Team HAQ does have is that they're very aware of how an Atlas is going to play, simply because of how much Min likes playing the hero. So they know exactly how far they need the position to avoid being caught out by the perfect match. And they know, like, the habits of a player that's looking for that big fatal link. So as long as they don't drop their guard and keep perfect vigil over their positioning, it's actually going to be quite difficult for HAQ to catch them out.
Yeah, Gary and Panda on top of the gold ranking, so this is good. Team HAQ has a lot of gold, but it's going to the right people. Min right now, he's actually in a situation where he's pretty tanky. Oh, HAQ is going in. Will he be able to catch anyone? And no, he's taking free damage. Kuza is going to get focused in behind. Good altar has been used. Lola still going forward. Gary manages to secure the Lord for himself and his team. And right now, Team HAQ with a 3,000 gold advantage, pushing out RGMY from their own jungle.
That was textbook perfect by Team HAQ, using Lola to distract the backline alongside Min, and then allowing Panda and Gary to focus on the Lord itself. They don't want to take fights at all. Min gonna get caught out by the Fatal Links here into the full team of Team HAQ. He's not gonna survive that, but I don't think they mind too much.
Yeah, and looking at the items, Min actually only has the Athena shield, so it's kind Min is the one that dealt the most damage throughout this game. It's not Man, it's not Gary, it's not even Panda. You know what? Min, it's kind of showing off. He's kind of flexing right now.
I want to see how much of that is on Kuza specifically. But the Lord now going to be pushing up the top tier 2, already taken down. We can see Gary split pushing the bottom side as well. Man pushing RSG back to try and take this tower as Lalil defends mid quite effectively. They won't be able to take any inhibitors there, so a good defense from RSG, but that gold lead is definitely slipping into dangerous territory.
Lolios goes in with the blazing duet, focusing on Gary. Gary HP is so low, he has to run away. He manages to actually get away from that situation, and even though quite a lot of damage that was being brought up by Lolios, I do want to question, just because looking at the items just now, Min only had a Athena shield. He doesn't complete any other items yet. Probably is going for a Dominance Ice after this, but even with just one magic resist item completed, he was able to actually sustain quite long going up against the entire force of RSG and Y. So I'm just worried that RSG, in terms of damage, maybe not there yet. Like, do they need one more item before they can really commit to a full-blown team fight right now? Min slightly caught out, but as I said, this Hilda is looking super tanky.
I do agree with you there. RCMY, unfortunately, because of their devotion into this big team fight combination, the heroes will do a little bit less consistent DPS compared to Team HAQ until Lolios is actually able to complete his build. And because of that, Team HAQ needs to make use of this window right now, because if they allow the Claw to scale up, it becomes a lot more difficult for them. We can see from the Lord push advantage, 20,000 tower damage with the first Lord of the game is not bad at all, but I think they were hoping to be able to get a little more.
Yeah, and I feel like this game, if Team Hot wins, is just because their clear understanding of the draft for both teams, for their own draft as well as RSG's draft. Because we saw how Hawk is actually having quite a difficult time to really impact the game in terms of catching people out with his Fatal Links. Looking at the itemization right now, Min already completed his Blade Armor, so he can sustain quite enough damage going up against Lolios. And looking at the Julian, focusing full full magic damage build, but having that Feather of Heaven is more of a sustained kind of build. And I'm not sure whether that's enough, because look at Gary. Gary can 1v2. What is going on, Gary? You just got nerfed, but a double kill secured by Gary. Now I know for sure RSG does not have enough damage.
That is the ultimate flex by
That's
Gary
a play
right
of the
there.
day.
We have been seeing some insane mechanics from this guy on the Ling, but that is just the cherry on top. This is a hero that needs to be respected. This is basically a Gary signature now. When you have a Ling, solo 1v2, a Paquito, and a Julian, two heroes that should be able to easily 1v1 him, that is not a good look for RSGMY.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like the nerf onto Julian kind of hurts a bit because the damage was not enough. But to be fair, you actually have to hit the skills, because right now we're going to look into an instant replay and look at how much damage was actually being given onto Gary. Gary actually dodges a lot of it. And look at the crowd. The crowd is loving it. That was a beautiful double kill. That is a true 1v2, no cap. Just give them all to me. I can secure those kills. That was impressive.
That belongs in a TikTok compilation right there.
Oh, trust me, it probably will. It probably will.
Absolutely. That is a part of what you want to show people when you're saying, I'd like to join your team. This is what I could do. But now the Luminous Lord pushing up top lane. Top inhibitor gonna fall instantly. Mid inhibitor taking a lot of damage from Gary as well. RSG still have the combo, but they can't find an opening to engage on. Even though Team HAQ are all together, they know that they are 10,000 gold behind Team HAQ, and this is just looking to be a death sentence for RSG.
10,000 gold lead. This is one of those games where I kind of want to pause just because I want to point out the position, but look at Panda. Panda has been caught out, and they're focusing it all. Lola is in the middle. The team fight killing spree is on to Izanami. Mon, he goes back in, focusing on trying to get any kind of kill, any kind of assist, and Lola, he's just jumping here and there, here and there. He's sustaining for quite a long time, but for the side of RSGMY, they're able to kite it out, and HY manages to get Mon sleeping, and now he's focusing on the Lola. Is this going to be a comeback victory for RSGMY? Right now, they managed to get the kills. Right now, they're managing to actually control the map again.
That was a mistake from Team HAQ. I think there was a little bit of miscommunication there. You could tell from their positioning, Man wanted to bait the Fatal Links. He wanted to force HAQ to use it on him because he has the black shoes, but Panda was too close. And now Gary is forced to use the Tempest of Blades as 5 members of RSG are pushing down mid lane. Fatal Links onto 1 member. That's going to be Min pulled in as the Demonic Force is actually doing a lot of damage. All of RSG grouped up, forcing out the Cult Altar. Gary's still waiting for his opportunity. He has no purple buff. The Cult Altar going to expire. Lolios looking real low. They find HY first. Izanami gonna follow. Lolios, he doesn't have Battle Mirror Image. He's out of position. HAQ needs to defend him, but they get the double kill. Immobilized from the chain. Kuza now returning. Will pick up the shutdown onto Gary as Min is picked off by the Crystal as well. But Lola Panda still alive. Man coming in from the back to support Kuza, taking a lot of damage from Panda. HAQ coming in, not gonna be able to
on the turret.
Fatal Links only on Man. Cult Altar available again. Black shoes out from the Lilia. Izanami still going in. He finds Panda, but Lola finds HAQ in the backline. This is a 2v2. Izanami taking a lot of damage, but Team HAQ can't continue.
Yo, take a breath, Staffa. That was a very long play-by-play. That was very impressive. But yeah, from the side of Team HAQ and RSGMY, it was a 10,000 gold lead. Now it's cut in half. Only 5,000 gold lead for Team HAQ. But again, we saw how much the fight really turned. Once Gary arrived, it was almost a victory for Team HAQ. However, in this game, I gotta say, Panda is suffering a little bit because he's not able to do much. Gary is here. The Lord, there's only one bar left. Kuza secures the Lord for himself. Lola wants a little bit more going up against HY. Man is there. Min is there. The Cult Altar has been used. Will they continue? Yes, they will. They want HY. Lola is in the back line trying to dish out the most amount of damage onto Min. Min is going to go down. The Fatal Link is used onto him. Gary has no more energy, and Panda is too far away to continue this fight for Team HAQ.
Team HAQ getting a little bit sloppy happy here in their desperation. Their 10k net worth lead reduced
Whoa!
instantly to 3,000. And the Luminous Lord is actually pushing out for RSG now. This is their worst nightmare. We already mentioned this late game. RSG has the advantage because of how strong their team fight is. They wanted to pick off even a single member of RSG, but they invested too far. And now they have to defend against this Lord without Min. But they have enough damage. Gary, this is risky here. He should be able to escape.
This 1v2 will not look the same, Gary. And looks like RGMY did answer a question we were asking. What are they waiting for? Are they waiting for items? Apparently, yes. Once they have enough, they will go in for the fight. And right now, RGMY, even though Team HAQ still has the gold advantage, I would say they got a momentum boost. They got a confidence boost. Lolios is looking super strong. Kuza is making less and less mistake. HAQ, all he needs to do is to manage to catch one crucial target. But the question is, who is the target that he's really waiting for? HY 1v1 against Gary. Who will win this time? And again, it's Gary.
Gary winning these solo duels here, and HY finally gonna get taken out. Team HAQ, they were so desperate to catch him out in that previous engagement, and Gary just makes it look easy. RSG definitely know that this Ling is going to be their primary concern. Ideally, they want to be able to prevent him from taking the purple buff if they were in better control of the situation, but when they have no towers left on the map, that's not really a possible goal to accomplish.
The key to victory is actually holding on to your lead. Team HAQ, they're trying to hold on, but it's very difficult. Looking at the damage here, finally, Min has gone down. Gary has shot way up in terms of the damage. 71,000 damage, and Lola, 59,000 damage. But again, I attribute that just because of how tanky he is, and he just keeps slamming his, I don't know, what you call it, like a spiked hammer thing. I don't know, but the sustain from this Phobius is absolutely insane. Looking at the items over here, standard itemization for the Phobius. As long as he has the Ice Queen wand, he's gonna make it so that RGMY can't really go for the backlines.
I believe the word you were looking for was a flail. That is the weapon I believe Phobius is using here, but we can see that the purple buff going to be targeted. Oh, this could be bad. Kuza's out of position here. Immortality popped down. Min coming in from backline. Cold Altar will save him. Fatal Lynx catches no one, and Kuza will go down. Right now, HAQ out of position, but he is an Atlas. He will be able to get away. They have caught out the most important member of RSG because guess what? The Luminous Lord is back, and Team HAQ will claim it.
I don't know whether that is a mistake from the side of RSG or just an outplay from the side of Team HAQ, because it has been quite consistent where they are able to actually bait out these Fatal Links and making sure that they take advantage of that. Team HAQ right now with a 4,000 gold lead. The Lord has been called out, and it is going to be an involved Lord. This is going to be difficult for the side of RSG to really defend. They really have to make sure that Izanami and Lolios stay alive long enough for them to dish out the damage. And as I said that, Lolios finishes his HAQ claw, so he has quite the sustain, he has quite the lifesteal coming into this perhaps final team fight.
The Luminous Lord coming in, flame shot on 3 people, forcing out the Cold Altar. Lola gonna actually pop his immortality in his base itself. Fatal Link's only on top of Min, but the crystal is the main target. Team HAQ, they're not gonna fight. Your crystal is wide open, and they're going to take the first victory of the day.
Team HAQ won, and it was amazing to watch. And I definitely have to say, the highlight of this game is